Okay, so in the last class, we looked at magnetic induction. So if you all recall, that's the wireless process by which you temporarily magnetize um, um, a magnetic material. That's the whole point of it. And I gave you all the long explanation in the last class, right? But essentially, all you have to remember is the fact that magnetic induction is the process by which a magnetic material becomes magnetized when placed in an external magnetic field without direct contact. And if you all remember last class, I said if you bring a magnet, what do you have around the magnet, guys? Around the magnet, what do you have?
A magnetic field.
A magnetic field. And when you bring a magnetic material close by, you remember you had like tiny little magnets in the magnetic material called dipoles, right? Called dipoles. And when you bring the magnetic field close by, the domains is aligned, right? The domains for the dipoles, they align. And that creates a temporary magnet. And this was the whole explanation, right? Because when those domains align, it forms a magnet. Could you all remind me one material that's good at retaining its magnetism? What's a material that's good for retaining magnetism? Guys, you need you all to be answering like rapid fire, Rapid fire. What's a material that.
Miko.
What I mean?
Um, the
You do chemistry?
yeah,
Alright, what does Ni stand for?
and I
Hmm.
nickel,
Right? What does Co stand for?
CO,
Hmm.
um, cobalt.
Right? And you said what? What's the full thing you had to say?
I think it's AlNiCo.
Right. So if you're getting Al, what is Al? What is Al?
Aluminum.
But remember, we say we can't. Well, aluminum is fine. The steel we did cancel off, right? And then you have neodymium and ferrite.
Mm-hmm.
Neodymium and ferrite are the more typically used materials, right? Um, could you all give me some differences between a temporary magnet and a permanent magnet, just to recap from last class? Temporary versus permanent. What's the difference? Temporary versus permanent. What's the difference? Fast, Ryan. What's the difference between a temporary magnet and a permanent magnet?
One stays um magnetic for a period of time and one stays magnetic permanently.
What's another difference?
Still one easy to magnetize and one not that easy to magnetize.
Ryan, which one do you think easier to magnetize? The temporary magnet or the permanent magnet?
The temporary.
Yeah, Ryan, that's what it is saying. Nothing that come easy. This lasts long. The physics literally there. If you understand what I mean. Cool.
Yeah.
So we understand magnetic induction. We understand the magnetic fields around a magnet and Nikolai. How much poles does a magnet have?
Two,
Say that again?
two, north and south.
North and south, right? The magnetic field always travels from where to where?
North to south.
Exactly, always north to south. So the magnetic field lines are going to leave north and it's going to go to south, and we need to. What is that? Boy. And it's going to be like that. And it called these the magnetic field lines. So Nikolai, if I had to draw an arrow here, would I draw the arrow in this direction or the arrow in that direction? One or two?
One, I think it's one.
It's one, because remember, it leaves the north and you're not seeing it, but it goes to south. It would never be two. Now, if you have two of the same poles, Nikolai, what's gonna happen? Two of the same poles.
They won't connect. They go
The, what's the proper word for that?
actually, no, they would.
That's what R.
They would. No, it's not resist each other.
Repulsion. Repel. They're gonna repel each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It come like if you have bait for like a couple of days and then try to raise up the house. Should be like, nah. Go from here. Should be like, move. Nikolai, you know the song I'm talking about?
Which one?
A lot of ladies making it. It's on. I think it's the Lady Lava song was like, it's like move. No, you know what I'm talking about?
Nah, I ain't know.
Oh, okay. That's small thing. But alright, cool. Nice. So we understand that. Now let me explain something to you guys. Let's talk about making an electrical magnet. Or we just say electromagnet. Alright, so something I want you guys to understand. Anytime you run a current through a conductor, what do you think is generated around that conductor? Does anybody know?
A magnetic field, sir.
Exactly, a magnetic field. So, anytime a current is passed through a conductor, there exists a magnetic field around the current carrying conductor. Now, to figure out the specifics, you're going to use something called the right hand grip rule. Have you guys ever heard about the right hand grip rule?
Yes, sir.
Serious? You did before?
So that's
Ryan?
what you, when
Yeah.
you're pointing it some up and stuff, and
Yeah. Ryan, Nikolai, have you ever heard of the right hand grip rule?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Serious? Nikolai, you hear about that?
Yes, we did it in school.
Was it you do this topic already?
Yeah, we did this. But mainly the whole thing, but most of it, I think.
Okay, well, that's great. That's great. All right, so copy that down. I'm going to give you an example. So since you all did this topic already, we typically have currents going into the paper and out of the paper, right? So do you guys recall what an X represents?
so that's current going in.
All right, and what does a circle represent?
The current coming out of the paper.
Um, did you learn that? Salman, did you guys learn that?
Nah, so we ain't learn that one.
Yeah. So
No,
anytime you do
sir.
the right hand grip rule, you always need to consider two main cases. Number one, the Zachary, I think he makes it up. Yeah, I think he makes it up. The X is actually into the page. I'm not sure if that's what you say. It always mixes up. I had to look it up every time. Right, so X is into the page, and if you just see a dot, it is out of the page. So again, if you see a X, it means into the page. If you see an O, it means out of the page. And I guess you can remember it like that, like it's a O, out, O, out. Yeah, so copy that down, and I'll show you guys some examples of the right-hand grip rule. Alright, so as soon as you have this copy down, let me know please, so we can move on.
Yes, we can move on.
Alright, Ryan, Nikolai, what going on with you guys?
Yeah, so you can move on.
Alright, cool. So let me show you guys a picture of the right-hand grip rule. We'll look at an example just now. So basically in your right-hand grip rule, your thumb represents the direction of the current, and your fingers curl in the direction of the magnetic field that surrounds the wire. Now, if we're talking about a magnetic field that's around the wire, what are two directions the magnetic field could travel in? Let me just hear some suggestions. Nikolai, what are the two ways the magnetic field around the wire would travel in? Do you have any idea? Zachary? No, Zachary. Nikolai, do you know?
Nah, clue.
Nah, you could. Zachary. I was saying, gosh. This is what has happened when you teach maths and you just wake up in the morning immediately and start teaching physics. Your brain is kind of foggy. But Nikolai, trust me, you can figure it out. I'm saying that around the wire, you're gonna have a magnetic field, and that's in circular motion. So, Nikolai, if we're talking about circular motion, what are the different types of directions we're considering if you're going around in a circle? Have two different types of directions. What are they?
Left, right.
Nah. What are they?
Oh, anti-clockwise and clockwise.
Actually, you gotta figure it out, right? Because you're talking about directions around in a circle. So when you're using the right hand grip rule, your thumb indicates the direction of the current, and your fingers curl in the manner in which the magnetic field is around the current carrying conductor. So let's look at a scenario, guys. So in this scenario, let's just say we have a current going into the paper. Alright, let's just suppose that for a second. The current is going into the paper. So I want everybody to put on the camera. I had to put on the camera. Put on the camera. Zachary, Ryan, Nikolai, put on the camera. Right, I'll show you a demonstration. I have to see how they do it. Nikolai, tell me Zachary don't look like Kendrick Lamar.
Really, so no. Got somewhat see it, no, but really.
Okay. But Nikolai and Ryan, put on the camera so we could do this together so you all could fully understand it. Alright, but in the meantime, Zachary, you see the X. What does the X mean about the current?
You can't go into the page.
So where should you point your thumb?
Downwards.
Downwards. Well, I suppose so. So Ryan, If you're seeing an X, it means that the current is going into the paper. So where should you be pointing your thumb? If the current is going into the paper, where are you gonna face your thumb? Is your thumb gonna be pointing towards you, or is your thumb gonna be going down into the paper? Oh, you're muted.
Down into the paper.
Exactly. So it's gonna look like this, and you see the direction in which your other finger is curling.
Yeah.
That's gonna tell you the direction of the magnetic field around the wire. So do this for me, and I want you to tell me if this is clockwise or anti-clockwise. You do that.
Clockwise.
Zachary, I agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree, right? So here's my advice. So Ryan, this real easy. When you put your finger, like, okay, you see wherever there, you see, like, okay, think of this as an arrow. Wherever this pointing to, just put it on the diagram one time and figure out the rest. That's all. Right, so Nikolai, if you see an X, don't listen to no Ravi B and thing, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if you see an X, that means that the current going into the paper. So Nikolai, if the current going into the paper, where should your thumb be pointing? To you or into the paper?
Tommy,
Alright, read that again. What does X mean about the current?
into the page.
Exactly, Nikolai. Into the page. So if the current is going into the page, where should your thumb be facing?
Or into the page.
Exactly, so do that for me, Nikolai. So like, point your thumb. So Nikolai, here what? Draw this diagram fast. Draw this diagram from your book. Draw X, right? With a little circle, and then around the circle, just draw like a circle without an arrow. You're gonna fill in the arrow. So in the meantime, Zachary and Ryan, anytime you have a current flowing through a conductor, what do you have around it?
The magnetic field.
Ryan?
Yeah, magnetic field.
Now, Zachary and Ryan, if I increase the voltage or I increase the current, do you think my magnetic field would increase or decrease?
Increase.
I would say increase, right? I would say increase, yeah. Alright, Nikolai, you ready? You tried?
Yes, actually.
Take your thumb and point it to downwards. Point it towards the X, right? Because the current going into the paper, right? And I want you to look at the direction your other four fingers curling in, and that will tell you the direction. So like you tell me, Nikolai, they're not looking like clockwise or anti-clockwise. Like when you curl your fingers, they're looking like.
Looking at clockwise.
It is clockwise, right? So that's one scenario. So over here we have the current going into paper. If you see something like this, Nikolai, what does that mean?
Going through the paper.
Say that again. So think about it logically, Nikolai. One example is the current going into the paper. So what do you think the other one might be?
Going out.
Yes. So current coming out of the paper. So Nikolai, where would you point your finger? Would you point your finger towards the paper, or would you point it away from the paper? What do you think? What do you think, Nikolai?
Away from the paper.
Like this?
Yeah.
Right? So I want you to curl your fingers and tell me what direction I'm curling in. What direction I'm curling in.
Anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise, bam. Are you okay with this? Like, let me know if you're alright.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes, sir.
Let's apply this to a scenario, right? So I just told you guys, if you have current flowing through a wire, around the wire you will have a magnetic field. So let's consider two instances. And I want you guys to tell me how this is going to work, right? So which terminal is he? I'll leave the camera on. Nikolai, this is the first time I seen you know. Like, I never see you before this. Like, I could have seen you in real life and I'd pass you straight. I didn't know what you look like. Nikolai, ain't you from South?
I know, sir. No. About South, sir, the stereotype about this thing and working. I'm not sure, no South, it no South,
I
don't
from
know what they
South.
do.
I from South, Nikolai. So I don't see how that offensive. I from South.
Nah, sir, it no South, don't it, no South.
That's something, Ryan. That's something against South or something, Ryan. We like if somebody say you're from South, you offended?
No, sir.
Nikolai, where you from? Central.
Yes, sir, down Central,
Oh, okay,
West and
okay.
East.
Oh, okay. All right. So which terminal is the positive terminal? The longer one or the shorter one?
Long Island.
All right, Zachary. What is the conventional flow of current?
Positive to negative, sir.
Right. Well, so fellas, hear this now. Until you see any current going in that direction through the wire. Okay. How would I figure out the direction of the magnetic field around it? Let me see if I can figure that out. I give it all here. I give it only 2 minutes. Figure that out. Figure out the direction of the magnetic field if the current is going in that direction. Let me see how I figure that out. By the way, if this wasn't clear enough, it says right hand grip rule. What hand are you gonna use?
You're right,
You're right, huh?
Okay, just had to clear that up. You know, some students have been using their left hand.
This is clockwise.
Ryan, Nikolai, what I say? Nikolai, let me see. I see in your hand now, like Nikolai, you gotta do it. You know what I mean? You gotta apply the right hand grip rule. I don't see it. Yeah.
But sir, that was not doing.
Let me see.
But
Let
then
me
you
see what you're doing.
batting. Yeah, I am clockwise.
Oh, how you know that?
Go, quick. I'm from a country thing. And like, I just get clockwise.
Wait, Zachary, I want you to show me where you did take it clockwise.
But sir, I just put my hand like in the direction of the current, so and like, you know,
Yeah, I mean that's all
just
you had to do, right? That's all you had to do. Ryan, you're taking your right hand, right? Ryan, you with me?
Yes, sir.
You're pointing it in the direction of the magnetic. Well, let me just invert my camera real quick so it will make more sense for you. Yeah. Like I see it pointing in the direction now. I got like it. Alright. Ryan, you're gonna do that. So do that for me. Do that for me. Right? And you see can you see the direction in which your four fingers curling in? Like I don't know, like this is a real hard
Yeah.
topic to teach like online. But essentially, if you were to replicate that over here, you will see that it's going in that direction. Like, should we see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. If you don't understand something, you know, it's fine.
No, I understand.
Zachary and Nikolai. Nikolai, do that back for me again. Because I feel like you do that a little wrong. Because that'll look like clockwise. Zachary.
No, you know, do?
Say that again, Nikolai.
Do you know, do, sir?
Yeah, do what I just now do. So like I will take your thumb and I want you to point it in direction of that current. What directions your four fingers curling in? So like what is it curling in? it might be hard for you to visualize it like this, so maybe you could take it in your hand and look at it. What does this look like?
Clockwise.
That look like clockwise. Because like watch, if I follow how my four fingers curling is like, it come like it curling like this. That don't look like clockwise.
Nah, I'm going to clockwise.
Yeah, so Nikolai, let me show you what to do, right? Nikolai, point your thumb in the direction of the current, like this. Then take your thumb and point it to face you. Can you see the direction in which your hand curling? Wherever that curling, put your arrow. That's it. That's it. I don't know what else to say. That we ought to do. So I have a question. If I were to reverse the polarity, what would change? Anybody want to tell me? If I were to reverse the polarity, what would change?
The directional current.
Yeah, the direction of the current. Nikolai, conventional flow of current does always go from where to where?
From positive to negative.
Right, positive to negative. Oh. I drunk or something? What I do? You see this? What? What? How did I sneak in there? What? I so confused by that. What? Oh, don't mind, man. Feel like the live something get into my head. So, alright. So I want you all to compare this scenario and this scenario. What changed? Nikolai, what changed?
Direction of the current.
So, I have a question for you. Do you think the magnetic field would still be anti-clockwise?
No, sir. It's clockwise.
Nah.
Well, I want to see how they figure it out, right? So, we would take our thumbs and you would point it in the direction of that. So it would look like that. Okay, don't mind my camera, right? I inverted my camera. Don't mind me. And I want you to take your four fingers and curl it. Like if holding a pencil or something might help do that. Look at the direction in which your fingers curling in. Does that look like clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Clockwise.
Yeah, that instance it would be clockwise. Like this is like a really hard topic to teach, like virtually. It's like a really hard topic to teach virtually, man. Wait a minute. I confused myself. One second. I really am confusing myself. Let me look at this again, right? No, this is clockwise. You're right. Don't know what's going on with me. You all did get clockwise, right? Yeah, that would be clockwise. This would be clockwise. Let me run through that again. Yeah, that is clockwise. And this would be anti-clockwise. Yeah, do that again for me. So I want you also to do that again. So like Nikolai and Zachary, all correct. How was I getting anti-clockwise? What? Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. But it is clockwise. Let me give you all a question to do. Give me a second. Let me give you all a question to do. Okay. The current is gonna go in this manner. I want you to find the direction of the current over here. So do that for me. Would you say that is clockwise or anti-clockwise? Nikolai and Ryan, I'm not seeing all there doing the
Clockwise.
Alright. Well, let me see, right? So my finger is gonna point in that direction, in the direction of the arrow. And if I wrap my hand around it, my fingers would curl in this direction. Zachary, what are looking like?
Clockwise.
Yeah, this is clockwise. That is clockwise. So I want to let you notice something. Wasn't the polarity the same in these instances? Watch. It's the same polarity, plus negative, and in both instances, even though we considered like a different point in the circuit, what was the same? What was the same? What was the same?
The direction of the current.
Exactly, right? Let's consider this scenario now. Ryan, I feel like you're a little confused, Ryan. And that's understandable. Like, are you? Or like are you not?
No, sir.
You're not confused? Um alright. So talk to me, right, Ryan? It will go from positive to negative. Cool. I want you guys to the tell me the direction of the current. What was I saying? Direction of the magnetic field over here. So do that for me. Do that for me. So Zachary, Ryan, and Nikolai, do that.
Anti-clockwise.
Everybody agree with that? Because like the current
Yes, sir.
is going up. And if you look at how it's curling, it's like curling in this direction, which is anti-clockwise. So again, what did you realize? Like in this scenario, both of them have the same polarity, negative first and positive, and no matter where you go on the circuit diagram, the direction of the magnetic field is
Anti-clockwise.
exactly anti-clockwise. So guys, do we understand? So like there's one thing I want us to draw from this. When the direction of the current changes, what also changes? Tell me guys. When the direction of current changes, what also changes?
The magnetic field.
Nikolai, would you agree? So like Nikolai, when I swapped around the terminals, what changed? What changed?
Direction.
Say again?
Direction.
Okay, the direction of current changed. What else changed?
The magnetic field.
Remember, this is the magnetic field that's around the wire, and that changes directions. So when the direction of current changes, so does the magnetic field. Okay, so I have a very simple question to ask. Do you think the magnetic field would change for a direct current source? Like if you have a circuit and you have DC in it, will the magnetic field change? Nikolai, I see you look up in the sky just now. Nikolai, if it's a DC source, will the direction of current ever switch?
Nah, sir.
So will the magnetic field ever change?
Nope.
Ryan, you understand that? Like if the direction of the current doesn't change, then the direction of the magnetic field wouldn't change. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
But Ryan, if I had a AC power source, what would happen to the direction of current?
It would change.
It would change periodically. And because of that changing periodically, what would also change periodically?
The direction of the magnetic field.
Yeah. So do we all understand this core concept?
Yes, sir.
So if you see a X, don't call nobody name and thing, eh? If you see a X, it means that the current is what?
Going into the page.
Right, and if you see a O, what sounds like, what would it start with an O?
Out.
Out.
Out. So if you see a X, it going in. If you see a O, it going out. I sure somebody in Trinidad can make that into a soca song or something. I sure. I sure. I feel like Nicola is the man for that.
Me, sir.
Nicola, you could sing anything?
I don't know, sir. Only one way to find out.
After class, I go bust a song for you. You and Zachary will collab.
Think about it, sir. I
You
think
think
about
about
it.
it.
Okay, let's take other payment too, sir.
Alright, how much the commissions will be?
Give me all 2 piece from KFC and I go call it quits.
Well, would I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Yeah, that's a small thing. That's a small thing actually. So, I have a question. So, Ryan, we just said that when you pass a current through a wire, it generates a magnetic field around it. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ryan, on its own, do you think that magnetic field is very strong? Like think about like we have wires like all over, all around, like I have so much wires here. Does it pick up anything? Like no? Yeah, maybe.
No, sir.
No, so like just from this wire alone, guys, is the magnetic field around it strong?
No, sir.
No. But Ryan, if I were to wrap it around a magnetic material like iron. By the way, guys, could you remind me, is iron ferromagnetic, paramagnetic? What is it? Iron. What was iron? Remember, paramagnetic was extremely weak. Ferromagnetic has a higher tendency to become magnetic. What do you think iron is? Paramagnetic or ferromagnetic?
Paramagnetic.
Exactly, Ryan. Doesn't iron become like okay? Ryan, you ever rub an iron against a magnet?
No.
You ever rub an iron nail against magnet like a magnet? Or not?
No.
No. I grew up playing with like nuts and bolts and magnets and all that thing. but Ryan, if you do that, if you rub the iron nail against the magnet and you remove it, the iron nail will be like temporarily magnetized. Did you know that?
Yes, sir.
Well, good. So what I'm saying is, okay, if that is the case, Ryan, do you think iron is weakly attracted to the magnet or strongly attracted to the magnet?
Strongly attracted.
Okay, and that's because it is ferromagnetic. As the proper term for it. But anyways, so Ryan, by me wrapping the wires around in turns, right? Like in a coil. So I'm wounding the wire around the iron nail, which is in itself magnetic. What do you think is gonna happen to the magnetic field strength? Do you think the magnetic field strength is gonna increase or decrease?
Increase.
Exactly, because now you have a bunch of magnetic fields in close proximity to each other, and it's being channeled by the ferromagnetic material, which is the iron nail. So the iron nail is going to channel that magnetic field, and the iron nail is actually going to become magnetized. So by wrapping a cylindrical coil or solenoid around an iron core and passing DC through it, the iron core will become magnetized. Right? So the electric field creates a magnetic field because they are both part of the same electromagnetic force. So I gotta explain that to you guys. Just now. Yeah. But I just want to ask you guys a question. The current is traveling in this plane, and the magnetic field is traveling in like another plane, like in this two-dimensional plane. What's the relationship between those two planes? Like, would you say like they're parallel, like they're 90 degrees? What would you say? What would you say? If you all had to say, so like imagine that this is a 2D plane that this is on, and this is passing through that, like what angle would those two planes form? Nikolai, what angle would that form?
Yes, sir.
Nikolai, I see you wasn't paying attention, Nikolai.
Now I was trying to say one angle, and I'll say as we just really hit properly.
So Nikolai, you have a current going in that direction, and the magnetic field is in this plane. So the current is like passing through there. So what's the angle between that current and the magnetic field? The plane of the magnetic field. Do any of you all have idea? The angle between the two?
A 90-degree angle, sir.
Yes, let me give you a very clear explanation. Come on now. Like, I don't know how to understand this. Like trust. So, like, let me just say they have the. So, like, let me just say this is the wire, right? Or let's just say that this is the wire, right? This is the wire. Right, so the Apple Pencil is the wire, and this is the current over here, right? Let's see now, this is the current. And you have the magnetic field around it. What is the angle between these two? What's the angle between these two guys?
90 degrees.
Nikolai, Ryan, let's see that. Nikolai, can you see what I'm talking about? 90 degrees. So, like, okay, Nikolai, what I'm trying to say is this is the wire, right? The Apple Pencil, that's the wire, and the wire would carry the current. Now, you would have the magnetic field here, you would have the magnetic field around it. You understand? Look at the different planes. What angle is that?
90.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to say is the electric field and the magnetic field are what angle from each other?
90 degrees.
Exactly. So over here, this note over here might confuse some people, but don't get confused. Right? They're saying the electric field. Do you all know what they mean by electric field? Do you guys understand what they mean by electric field or no? If you don't
Yes,
understand,
sir.
that's fine, you know. Nicola, you know what electric field means? I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, I think so.
Guys, this is the electric field, you know. This is the electric field. Like, you see how the current going from positive to negative? That is the electric field. Ryan, did you know that was the electric field?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so that's the electric field, and the magnetic field runs what angle to that?
Clockwise.
Nah. Remember what I said? This is the magnetic field, and the Apple Pencil was the current. So the electric field and the magnetic field are what angle to each other?
90 degrees.
Right. So do you understand? The pencil is the electric field, and what's present on the paper? You can't see it, but like what's present on the paper? The what?
The current.
No. All right. So the Apple Pencil represents the current, right? And around the current, Ryan, what do you have? Like, okay, let me add some stuff to this so you understand it better. Alright, give me a second. How to make sure they understand this? Let's see, me behind the scenes. Okay, watch. Again. Ryan, check this out. Alright, so Ryan, what does the pencil represent? What does the Apple Pencil represent?
The current.
Right, so the current is going in this direction, right? So if you was to use right hand grip rule, you would take your thumb and you would point it in this direction, you agree?
Yeah.
And your fingers would curl in this direction, right? So you see? Can you see how I put the arrows to represent that?
Yes, sir.
So, Ryan, what does the Apple Pencil represent? The electric field or the magnetic field?
The electric,
And what is present on this 2D plane here, this paper? What is present on the 2D plane?
the magnetic field,
Right, so the electric field and the magnetic field are what to each other?
connected
Right, but what angle are they to each other?
90 degrees.
Exactly, like Zachary and Nikolai. Like, you could clearly see it. Like, I don't know what else to show it. Like, alright. So when you see that, that is 90 degrees to each other, don't get confused. You'll see it. Right, so Nikolai, if I wanted to create an electromagnet, what would I do? Let me see if you remember anything. How would you create an electromagnet? And what principle does
Bruh,
it use? Talk to me, Nikolai. If you want
I know, the what I supposed to use them. Man, where like wrap it with copper wire and thing, and like current go through it.
Okay, that's good. So you're saying it must be copper wire, which is a conductor, and it must pass a current through it, right?
Yeah,
Nikolai, ain't you have a million wire in your house?
yeah,
Okay, if you take a nail up or something and you pay it close to it, will it like attract the nail? Like will it feel it attracting the nail? So clearly that's
nah,
not
so
enough. Clearly that is not enough, right? What you have to do is you have to take the current carrying wire and you have to wrap it in a solenoid, which is like a coil around a ferromagnetic material. Like this. You know why, Nikolai?
so you can boost the magnetic field.
Yes, so you could boost the magnetic field. So let me explain. So Ryan, when we take the current carrying conductor and we wrap it very tightly to each other, can you see that we have conductors like very close to each other? Like, can you all see that? Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
So it comes like the individual magnetic field. It comes like it has, like there's multiple magnetic fields being added together, and that would increase the strength. And you're probably wondering, but so what is the purpose of the iron nail? Nikolai, do you think air is okay? Nikolai, I want you to compare air to iron. Which one do you think would channel the magnetic field more, air or iron?
Iron,
Exactly, Zachary. You know about like Harry Potter and thing, you know, like a wizard thing.
Yes, sir.
What it is used to channel their magic? Like, where's the device it is used to channel their magic?
I want to.
Okay, so what we using to channel the magnetic field we create? In this
The
case,
conductor.
no, not the conductor. What are we using to channel that magnetic field we make from the conductor?
Yeah. The iron nail.
Exactly. If you all do electrical engineering, you learn about magnetic permeability and you learn about reluctance, right? Basically, the iron nail has a very high permeability. Air has a really low permeability. Permeability just means that the ability for it to pass through. If I say something is very highly permeable, it means that like it allows the magnetic field to pass through it really, really simply. So like permeable means the ability for something to just pass through it. And so iron is a lot better than air. So Nikolai, the iron nail is going to so Nikolai, I want you to understand that around the wire you'll have magnetic fields, right? You'll have magnetic fields and they'll add together. But where's the point of that if you're not channeling it? So the iron nail now is going to channel that magnetic field and it's going to create an electromagnet. I'm not sure if you understand that. You sure you understand that?
yes, the
Okay, explain it to me now.
so basically, young iron, it is a passion wrapping wire around it, so you can go through.
Say that again?
So the iron nail, highly, what do you like? Permeable, it's permeable.
Let me give all the proper let me give all the proper terminology that I would use in electrical engineering. So I'm going to explain it one more time for you guys very carefully. So Zachary, Ryan, and Nikolai, Chanel, pay attention. Number one, you have a battery. The battery is supplying current. That current is going to pass through the conductor, which is the wire. Anytime you have current passing through a conductor, what is generated around it? What is generated around it?
Magnetic field.
So, because of the battery and the conductor, it forms a closed circuit, and by doing that, there's a magnetic field around the wire. By itself, do you think the magnetic field around the wire is strong enough to act as a magnet? No. So we have to take that conductor and we have to loop it around tightly in a coil or a solenoid. What this does is it amplifies the magnetic field. Because think about it, if you have a bunch of wires wrapped around very closely together, the individual magnetic fields would add together and it would increase. Now, you don't want to waste that, right? Nikolai, would you want to waste that? That magnetic field it creates?
Nope.
Okay, let me ask you all a question. And I'm going to use conduction over here, right? But the term is actually reluctance, and but it's fine, it's fine. Okay, what do you think would conduct the electrical engineering like hurting? But this is what you guys will understand. What will conduct the magnetic field more, air or iron? What would conduct the magnetic field more, iron or air?
Iron.
Ryan, what would channel the magnetic field more, like the iron or just air?
The iron.
Exactly, and the reason for that is because iron has a very high magnetic permeability. Meaning what, Ryan? If I say it has a high magnetic permeability, what do I mean?
It allows magnetic fields to pass through it.
Yes, yes. So the iron nail will easily let the magnetic field pass through it. Whereas with air has a really low magnetic permeability. So, while saying, Ryan, around the wire, the magnetic field will be strong, but because air has a very low magnetic permeability, like the magnetic field is gonna drop off really quick. Because it can't really pass through the air effectively, as it would iron. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So, Nikolai, you would say that the iron nail has a very high what? It has a high what?
Permeability.
High magnetic permeability. And what I mean in English? What I mean in English, Nikolai?
Basically, allow the current to pass through for the magnetic
Exactly.
field.
Yeah. It allows the magnetic field to pass through it easily, to channel it. Cool. So I feel like we understand that. So the main concept here is that the battery and the wire creating a magnetic field around the wire. Cool. You gotta channel it, so you wrap it around in a coil. Cool. You want to channel that magnetic field, so use an iron nail because of its high magnetic permeability. That's it. Now, I'll ask you all this question. The electric field and the magnetic field are always what to each other? At what angle? The magnetic field and the electric field are always what angle to each other?
90 degrees.
90 degrees, yes. Yep, that is it. So guys, let me explain this. Nikolai, can you see that this is like the wire they loop around?
Yes, sir.
Right. Can you see that okay, so if it was just one wire by itself, Nikolai, if it was just one wire by itself, right, it would just have this small magnetic field. But by you putting multiple wires together, can you see that the magnetic fields are adding? Like what? 1, 2,
Yes,
3,
sir.
4, like it adding. Are you seeing that? Zachary, Ryan, are you seeing that like the magnetic fields adding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Cool, I'm happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. So, where's the way I can explain this? Give me a second. Remember I tell you the electric field and the magnetic field are always perpendicular, 90 degrees? Remember I tell you that, right? So like,
Yes.
I don't know how, like it's really hard to visualize it here, but like essentially this is the current and the magnetic field is on this plane. So like, again, right angle to each other. So what I want you guys to take away from this complicated diagram is that, number one, by you wrapping the wires in like a very tight coil, what is combining? Nikolai, what is combining? By you wrapping it in a tight coil, what's gonna combine? What's combining?
The wire and whatever it is.
Say that again?
The wire and whatever you were wrapping around.
No. We're wrapping the wire, we are wrapping the wire around tightly in a coil so that the individual magnetic fields would add. Because Nikolai, watch, you have a magnetic field here, you have one here, you have one here, but like, what are they doing? What are they doing?
Conducting.
Nah. Nikolai, if you have multiple people pushing a car in the same direction, their forces would,
Increase.
the forces would add together. So if I have a magnetic field over here, I have a magnetic field over here, I have a magnetic field over here, I have the same magnetic field over here, what would they do?
They go add.
They would add into this big thing over here. You understand? So Nikolai, we're wrapping the wire in coils very close together so that what? What?
So that they go add.
What would add?
The magnetic.
The
I
magnetic
guess
what?
magnetic force field.
The magnetic field. The magnetic field would add. And as the magnetic field increases, then the magnetic strength would also increase. Do you guys comprehend? Is there anything here that confuses you? Ryan, is there anything that confuses you?
No, sir.
Okay, so I want you guys to copy this part down here. You have to copy this down. So we now understand one of the most key concepts, which is that if you pass a current through a wire, you're going to generate a magnetic field around it. And we just explained how to create an electromagnet, which is very important as well. So Nikolai, I'm looking forward to seeing your diagram. Looking forward to seeing your diagram. Now Chanel and Jaden, I saw that you guys joined very, very late. Very late. What's going on with that? Is it like this Saturday, 8 o'clock?
I woke up late, sir.
I see. Jaden, I guess you wake up late too. Jaden? I think Jaden wake up and he fall back asleep. Now I think. Right, so Chanel, while these guys are taking down this note, I could try to catch you up as fast as I could, right? So Chanel, if you have a battery and you create a closed circuit, what is running through the wires? All pass through the wire.
Current.
Exactly, current. Now what I'm saying is I'm adding an extra dimension. When you pass current through a current carrying conductor, around the wire there's a weak magnetic field. See what I was saying? When you pass current through a wire, around the wire you have a magnetic field. But that on its own is weak. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Now I would have taught the students something called right hand grip rule, where I said you're gonna use your right hand. Your thumb indicates the direction of the current, and how your four fingers curl is gonna indicate if the magnetic field around it is gonna be clockwise or anti-clockwise. So Chanel, you there with me?
Yes, sir.
I also said that X represents current going into the paper and O represents current coming out of the paper. So Chanel, if current is going into the paper, then where would you place your thumb? Would you place your thumb away from the paper or into the paper?
Into.
Exactly, into, because X represents current going in. So you would take your thumb and you would point it towards the paper and you would look at the direction in which your fingers curl. So do that for me, and I want you to tell me what direction is your four fingers curling in, clockwise or anti-clockwise? So Chanel, maybe put like an X on the paper, put your thumb towards the paper and like curl your fingers and like trace the part in which your fingers curling in. Without looking like clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Clockwise.
Clockwise, correct. I want you to reverse that now. I want you to take your thumb and I want you to point towards you and tell me what direction does the magnetic field now go in?
Anti-clockwise.
Good. So Chanel, two takeaways there. If you change the direction of current, what changes as a result?
The magnetic field.
Great. That's amazing. That's good. So Chanel, another point I want to draw here. If you have a direct power source, like a battery, will the direction of the current ever change?
Repeat that one, sir.
If you have a circuit with a DC power source, like a battery, will the direction of current ever change?
No.
Oh, sorry about that. And so Chanel, if the direction of current doesn't change, will the direction of the magnetic field ever change?
No, sir.
No. Cool. That's DC. If you have an alternating if you have an alternating power source, like like the power source from the outlet, what changes periodically? With AC, what changes periodically?
So I'm thinking about volts and stuff.
The voltage will change periodically, but mainly the current. Chanel, if it's alternating current, the direction of the current changes periodically. And if the direction of the current changes periodically, then what would change periodically as well? So the direction of current switching, so what would change as a result?
The magnetic field.
Exactly, good. Why Zachary, Ryan, Nikolai, Chanel, Jaden? Why am I explaining this? I'm explaining this because when we move on to Faraday's law, you'll see why you have to understand this. So don't forget this. So a big thing I want you to take away, right? If you have a AC power source, it'll generate a change in magnetic field. Take that from today, right? Cool. Nikolai, Ryan, and Zachary, I feel like I'll finish. Send me a picture of what they do. I want
Yes,
to see the
sir.
diagram. I want to see all the diagram. Send me a picture of what they come up with. Alright, so send my picture. Let me see what they come up with. So, Chanel, you understand everything we talked about so far, right?
Yes, sir.
Then you didn't really miss much. You didn't really miss much. So I have a question for you. Nikolai, I'm gonna ask you this question again. Just to make sure you understand it, right, Nikolai? Nikolai, the Apple Pencil represents what? The electric field or the
The
magnetic
current.
field? The current, right? The current, which is the electric field. You following?
Yes, sir.
What? Okay, so I think what confuses me is you talk about plane. Where's our plane? Right? This is our plane. A plane is a 2D surface. So on this two-dimensional plane, you have the magnetic field. And as you would imagine, you have multiple magnetic fields, right? Around the current carrying conductor. Cool. So, Nikolai, what is the angle between the electric field and the magnetic field?
90 degrees.
And you're seeing it for yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
So you will say that the electric field is perpendicular to the magnetic field.
Yes,
Because
sir.
perpendicular just means 90 degrees. So Chanel, did you just catch what I say? This plane has a magnetic field on it. The pencil represents the current, and the current is what we call the electric field, because the electric field will represent the current between two charged plates, or two charged terminals, a positive and a negative. So Chanel, what's the angle between the electric and the magnetic field?
90 degrees.
And you see it, right? You see the 90?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Now, you have a bunch of wires in your house, do you not?
Yes, sir.
Are the wires by itself very strongly magnetic? Like if you take a metal object and you put it close to the wires, tell me, like, will it act as a strong magnet typically?
The wire by itself would be a weak magnetic field.
Exactly. So to amplify that, you're gonna take the wire and you're gonna wrap it around tightly in a coil. Reason we're doing this is so that the small magnetic fields, they would add together to make a bigger magnetic field. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And by doing that, we create a stronger magnetic field. Cool. But air has a very low magnetic permeability, meaning that the magnetic field has a hard time passing through the air. Air doesn't really want the magnetic field to pass through it. So you end up losing out on that magnetic field strength that you just create. So you should use something that's ferromagnetic. In other words, something that has a high magnetic permeability. So we'll use an iron nail, because the iron nail allows the magnetic field to easily pass through it. So what's saying, Chanel? Because the iron nail allows the magnetic field to easily pass through it, it's going to channel that magnetic field, and the iron nail is going to become magnetized. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And that's the whole concept of electromagnets. Let me see what you guys came up with. So Ryan, that's good. That's good. Big up yourself, Ryan. That's really good. I only received that picture from Ryan, Zachary, and Nikolai. Nikolai, I hear your phone mash up. What is that one?
Yes, sir. That one.
Wait, boy. How that happen?
Sir, I don't even know this.
Wait, boy. Happen in school or something?
Nah, sir. I was home.
Yo, not even more confusing. You fall asleep and then drop or something? Like, what happened?
Not even that, sir. I don't even know.
I'm real concerned now. But if you want, you can take your mother phone and some of the picture. I want to make sure that you have everything that's copied here. Like everything. So if they ask you in the exam how to make an electromagnet and you had to draw a diagram, this is the diagram you're going to give. And if they ask you to state how it works, you'll have to explain, the battery creates a current in the wire, and if you have a current flowing through a wire, you have a magnetic field around it, but the magnetic field is the individual magnetic field is not strong enough, so you wrap it on a coil, and then you put the iron there to channel the magnetic field because it has a high magnetic permeability. All of that. And if they ask you what's the relationship between the electric field and the magnetic field, you have to say perpendicular. All of that. Good. So I feel like we're okay with electromagnets. Let's move on. Right, so how would you demagnetize a magnet? How would you demagnetize a magnet? So strip it of its magnetism. That's the question. Zachary. Alright, Zachary, cool. Good job. So how would you demagnetize a magnet? Ryan, I doubt you do this, but you ever heat up a magnet?
No, sir.
Alright. But Ryan, if you heat a permanent magnet, it's gonna lose its magnetism permanently. Did you know that?
No, sir.
But now we understand why. So Ryan, remember I was talking about the magnetic spin dipoles, and I see like this is tertiary level stuff, but I still wanted to show you guys it. So Ryan, in a magnet, the dipoles are aligned, like all going in the same direction. You seeing that?
Yes, sir.
When you heat up something, you're applying a lot of energy to the. You're applying a lot of. Okay, thermal energy gets converted to kinetic energy. And so basically the molecules inside the material gonna start to vibrate real violently. So Ryan, when the molecules start to gain energy and they start to vibrate, do you think they'll stay aligned or do you think they'll start to disalign?
They will start to disalign.
Exactly, and if they start to disalign and they start to become randomly oriented, what would happen to the magnetism?
They would get weaker.
Yeah. Because remember Ryan, if you're trying to pull a car, right? And everybody pulling the car in different directions, is that smart? Is that effective?
No.
No. So if you want to pull a car and everybody should pull in the same direction?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the magnetic field strength to be strong, the magnetic domains should all be aligned. But when you apply heat, it causes it to become randomly oriented, and that kills the magnetism. That's the reasoning behind it. But in CSEC level, they just want to know what is causing it to demagnetize, just say heating. Right? So, I mean, that's what they say in here. Ryan, read that from me, read the explanation.
Molecules begin to vibrate so quickly that the domains are rearranged and the charges at the poles disappear.
Isn't that what we just discussed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Zachary, Nikolai, let me know that makes sense. Or like, are they confused? Chanel, let me know.
It makes sense.
Makes sense, sir.
Because again, right, if you want to have a strong magnet and you want, okay, so all magnets, they have like atomic magnets, right? And these are called dipoles. Now, Chanel, if you want to pull a car and like you want everybody to pull in the same direction to add the forces.
Yes, sir.
So like in the same concept here, you want all the dipoles to align. So you would, okay, so like when I say magnetic domain, I'm talking about all the dipoles in the same direction. That's what I'm talking about. So when I say magnetic domain, I'm just talking about combining dipoles are pointing in the same direction. So like you see how this dipole and this dipole pointing in the same direction?
Yes, sir.
I'd call it a magnetic domain. That's all. So a magnetic domain is just me adding all the dipoles are pointing in the same direction. Now ideally, if you want a strong magnet, all of them should be pointing in the same one.
Direction.
Exactly. Because it come like the forces would what? Like if all of them pointing in the same direction, what happen?
First is going to add together.
It's gonna add together. It's gonna add together, right? But if you heat it and these things start to vibrate and they start to move about, what happen? What would happen?
It's going to decrease.
Well, they're gonna lose the order. And if they lose the order, they're gonna be pointing in a bunch of different directions and it will just cancel off. It will become it'll lose its magnetism. Chanel, you understand the example? Like if we car, like if you have a bunch of people pulling a car in different directions, And some people might cancel off and the car will just remain there.
Yes, sir.
It's the same concept over here. If the dipoles pointed in different directions, you cannot cancel off the magnetic effect. And they become unmagnetized. So that is that. If you want to demagnetize a permanent magnet, you heat it. I don't know why you would want to do that, but sure. Right. Another thing is, Nikolai. Nikolai, you there?
Yes, sir.
So Nikolai, the whole thing is, if you apply energy, we can do with the domains.
They want to be rearranged.
Exactly, it's gonna be rearranged. And do you want it to be rearranged?
Nah, sir.
Nah, because remember, if it's a strong magnet, it's aligned. But if you apply some external energy too much, you cause it to gain energy and it will start to vibrate and it will move about and it will become disaligned and it would lose its magnetic effect. So Nikolai, read the second one from a hammering.
Hammering physical force rearranges domain and polar charges disappear.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Right, and then the last one is AC voltage. The alternating current causes some domains at the magnetic poles to switch directions. If done long enough, the polar charge will be nullified. Think about it. If some dipoles going in one direction and some dipoles going in the opposite direction, what happen, Nikolai? They come like two people
They'll
pushing.
cancel out each other.
They cancel out and they will lose its magnetism. So copy this down from a demagnetizing our magnets. Zachary, remember how I said last time we was at 17k followers?
Yes, sir.
We had 17.1 already.
That's really good, sir.
Yeah, boy, like, it's crazy. So Chanel, you're understanding every single thing? Like, you're not memorizing anything, or like you're understanding it?
Yes, sir. Understand.
That's good, that's good. The whole point is you're throwing off the alignment of the dipoles. And by extending domain, the magnetic domains. And if you do that, it loses its magnetism. I'm so happy I finished my electrical engineering degree so I could like give all the extra knowledge. Any other planning to do electrical engineering per chance? Ryan, I feel like you could make a good electrical engineer now. I think so.
Yeah, sir.
Nah, you gotta do something else? Understandable. Anybody who's listening to like JID and thing, like Playboy Carti, Skepta, I don't know who that is.
I see. Got it, yeah.
Yeah, Playboy Carti kind of tough. You know about S the Kid? I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong. S the Kid. I'm sure you probably hear 4 hours before, like Rottweiler.
Nah, so I don't think so.
I sure. Chanel, what kind of music you listen to?
So I don't have a specific type of music that I listen to. Just anything that I think sounds good.
Okay, okay. It's not really picky. One thing that kind of annoy me, though, like, you see that K-pop thing? Like, I don't know, K-pop does annoy me. Like, I feel like that's the one. That's annoying me. That for sure, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Dog, like the dances on that, God. Hey, I think I had a headache, yes. But anyways, anybody see that Outer Banks season 2 gonna come out? Well, not season 2, like, I think it's season 5. But like, the final season of Outer Banks. Will you ever watch Outer Banks? Zachary never watched Outer Banks?
Nope.
Uh, Chanel, what about you? I feel like you watch it. Outer Banks.
No, sir.
Uh, Alright, so does everybody have demagnetized and a magnet copy down?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so the next thing we're gonna move on to is our relay. Now I don't want you to tell me that this didn't come. Most likely will come for the exam, I have a feeling. So I learn this. And it's so easy though, like guys, it's so easy. So, probably wondering where's a magnetic relay, boy? Well, add the word magnet in it, so obviously it must have an electromagnet. So it's basically a circuit that contains a switch that is electromagnetically operated. Let me explain. So, give me 1 second. I find like it's not the best diagram. Let me get a good diagram for you guys. Let me get a better diagram for you. Okay, so Nicola, you there? Nicola, wagwan. I hear you. You good?
Yes, sir.
Let me get like a good magnetic relay for you all. Looking for like a really simple one that you have to understand. Like will. Okay, this is a real simple one. I surely bound to understand this. I feel like I'll have to understand this one. Then we go look at the more complicated diagram. So, I'll leave with more now. I'm gonna follow your life.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
so can you all see that we have two circuits? This circuit and this circuit.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
So most of the time this would be like a low voltage circuit and this would be a high voltage circuit. Let me explain, guys. Do you think it's safe for a human to like flip a switch for like a high voltage system? High voltage, like real high voltage.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, so you typically want to have a magnetic relay to do that for you. Let me explain. So the magnetic relay is used to switch high voltage circuits on and off. Remotely. Like you not there flipping that switch, you know. You not there flipping the switch. Let me explain what's gonna happen. So, do you guys understand that this is a circuit here? And when you have in that circuit, well, can you all see that you have coils in the circuit?
Yes, sir. And I
Yes, sir.
switch.
Right. Let me just say it had current flowing through this coil. If you okay, so when I close the switch, current gonna flow through the coil. If current flows through the coil, what's gonna happen? What's this gonna create?
And magnetic field.
What gonna create, Ryan?
A magnetic field.
Right. And this will always be like this might be like an iron, might be like iron or something. So talk to me. That'll be like an iron armature. So talk to me, guys. If I turn on this switch, this is a low voltage circuit, it's gonna generate a magnetic field, and that's gonna cause this iron armature to do what? So I have a magnetic
To,
field here. So
to bend towards the magnetic field and close the circuit.
yeah, and you switch on this, you switch on the high voltage circuit safely. You dig?
Yes, sir.
That's the whole concept. That's literally it. Chanel, you understand what I'm saying? Like you're using a magnetic field to close a switch for another circuit remotely.
Yes, sir.
Nikolai, let me know if you catch that. Actually, Nikolai, explain it to the class.
Yes, sir.
So Nikolai, I'm gonna let you cook, right? So go, talk.
So what exactly am I to explain? Like, how do you really does
Explain the whole thing.
work?
Explain the whole thing. Explain how it working.
Well, like the copper wire, and then when I flow through it, that's activated so that the current go through the whole circuit because the current is show.
Yeah,
That
they
makes
cook
sense.
that.
I don't want to add more detail.
More detail, definitely. You wouldn't.
Alright.
Yeah.
So basically, the switch, the circuit has switch, but the switch it had too much voltage within it. So
Right. So here what? Let me call this a low voltage circuit, and call this a high voltage circuit. Right. So we have two circuits: low voltage and high voltage. We can do the low voltage circuit.
you want to close,
Okay. When you close the low voltage circuit, what happen?
you go start to go, the current go through it.
Right. The current will start to go through the coil, and when the current goes through the coil here, what would it generate?
A magnetic field.
And that magnetic field would do what?
You close it.
Yeah, and that would switch on the what?
You also turn the high voltage on.
That's all. That's literally it. So by putting on this by switching on the low voltage side, it generates a magnetic field, and that magnetic field causes the soft iron armature in the high voltage circuit to be closed, and that causes current in the high voltage circuit to flow. Yeah. So let me try to explain that. So by closing the switch in the low voltage let me try to sound fancy. So we'd say the current flows through the solenoid to create a what? To create a what? Finish my sentence. Come on, guys, lock in. I'll let you finish.
Magnetic field.
Be more specific. When you create a magnet due to electricity, what kind of magnet do you call that?
A temporary magnet.
You're not wrong. but there's a specific name for the magnet. Name we call it. Anybody? What do you call a magnet that's created with electricity? You can do it.
Electromagnet.
Right, to create an electromagnet. Right, so by closing the switch in the LV low voltage side, the current flows through the solenoid to create an electromagnet. This electromagnet, Nikolai, try to finish my sentence. This electromagnet does what now?
It closes the high voltage circuit.
Say that again?
It closes the high voltage circuit.
Very be a little more specific, and also ChatGPT just generated this more detailed picture. Yeah, we use this so that this. Right. Right, and they call this switch like, okay, guys, it can't. Let me read it. It looks like an arm, does it? Does it not? Look, it looks like an arm, right? Like it's an arm, like an arm. Yeah. So Nikolai, what do you think we call this? What's the proper name for it?
A switch.
An armature. It's an armature. But it's acting like a switch, but the specific name for that is an armature. So this electromagnet attracts, I should say, pulls the armature and closes instead of low voltage. I mean, that's not wrong, but we should typically just say low power to just be general. Actually, no, we can stay with low voltage. Or we can stay with low voltage because that's when you typically use a relay. So you could either say low voltage or you could say low power, but it's typically low voltage from what we do in electrical engineering. Because Chanel, do you want humans to actively close high voltage switches?
No, sir.
Nah, so your power relay there. So like you all you have to do is flip a switch. But that's for like the low voltage side now. That's for the relay, right? And once you energize that part, it would pull the armature in the secondary side and that would close the circuit. So this electromagnet pulls the armature and closes the high voltage or high power circuit. Yeah, and well, this is the full explanation here. So number one, the control switch. When closed, it allows current to flow through the coil. The coil is the electromagnet. When current flows through the coil, it becomes an electromagnet and attracts the armature. Right? 3. Normally open. The contact is open when the coil is not energized. When the coil is energized, the armature closes this contact. 4. The device, lamp, motor, heater is controlled by the relay. So this is how it works. Closing the control switch allows current to flow through the coil. The coil becomes an electromagnet and attracts the armature. The armature moves and closes a normally open circuit. A high power circuit is completed, powering the load. So that's exactly what we said. That's exactly what we came up with. So let me know if you guys fully alright with magnetic relays. Are you all okay with the concept of it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. I feel like this will come for the exam. I have a feeling. I have a very strong feeling this will come for the exam.
I hope it come because it's that hard.
Really not that hard, right? Really not that hard. You energize the primary. Okay, you energize the low voltage side. It switch on the electromagnet. The electromagnetic attract the armature. The armature close the other circuit. Bam. Real easy. Real easy. That not hard. So far you enjoying the topic of magnetism?
Yes, sir.
That's good. That's
Yes, sir.
good. Which is all they do. It's like I feel like it's not tertiary level institute. All they will be like, what? All they will be like, nah, this is crazy. This is crazy.
I'll say I ain't going so far.
Like, let me show you all quickly. Show you all what we used to do. It's like one question. Yes, Zachary. That's one question. Check Zachary face now, boy.
That's horrible.
What's the question? And you have BH curves and thing. Okay, nothing. Yeah. I put brain molestation. Oh my god. Don't mind that. Don't mind that. Don't mind that. I was like real frustrated. Don't mind the naming of it. No, no, like this stuff is not easy. Like, yeah, I remember like a million formulas, guys. Like field intensity, flux density, flux inductance, reluctance, magnetic force, all kind of thing. All kind of thing. We all hate this, but it's fun though. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Once you don't have to pass the exam, and you're just doing it for funsies. Like I'm kidding you not. Like when I reach tertiary level education, you just wanna pass the course and just move on with your life. Like literally, that's what it comes down to. It's like I just want to pass the course so I could just move on. Yeah. Zachary, you just feel like that right now. You try to like do the best.
Try and do the best, sir.
Wait till you reach tertiary level institutions. Be like far. You know like they mean far. Yeah, you gonna be like that. Woo.
Yes, sir.
It's about survival mode there. Alright, so guys, copy this down. If all you can see everything in the diagram or not? Let me know if all you want me to make the diagram bigger.
Yes, sir. You can make it a little bigger.
So if they ask you guys why would a magnetic relay be important, you would say there are safety factors. Like you have to consider the safety of the person switching, like toggling the switch on and off. You don't want to like toggle a high voltage switch, that could be dangerous. Ryan, have you ever seen like the high voltage arc? Have you ever seen that? Like it just like jumped the gap of air, and like it was able to like conduct through air.
No, sir.
You sure? Like I show you see a Tesla coil before. Have you ever seen a Tesla coil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. The voltage is so strong, it actually jumps the gap of air. So Ryan, in an event of like a voltage spike, this voltage could just break through the switch and shock you, and you could die. I don't want to say dead, but like you could die. So like there's serious safety factors when dealing with high voltage circuits. That's why I have relays in high voltage circuits to protect the person switching the switch. Cool. Zachary boy, somebody tell me to do 1,000 hours of maths. What to them boy?
Nah, sir, that person mad.
Nah, that'll kill somebody though. That'll kill somebody. That's 1,000 hours. How many
Yeah,
days
that will
is
kill
that?
me for sure.
That would kill me too. Like 1,000 hours. That is Zachary, that is more than a month. That's 41 days. That is crazy. Okay, so when you're not done copying the diagram and the text, here what you could just copy the diagram and this text to the side here. Oh, let's see what relators look like in real life. I literally have a bunch from a cupboard.
Yes, sir.
I'll give me a second. I just have this stuff lying around, like it's crazy. Just have this stuff. Right, so one second. Yeah, so this is what our relators look like in real life. That's what our relators look like.
All right, sir.
Yeah. So like Zachary, you ever switch on like a electronic device and you hear like a little click?
Yes, sir.
That's the relay. Because
All
like
right.
when you energize the low voltage side, it just causes the armature to like snap. And
Yes, sir.
that is what it is here. The more you know, the more you know. So Zachary, if the device not working and you try to power it on and don't hear the snap, what component most likely gone?
The iron armature.
Yeah, the relay. You gotta replace the whole relay. They don't fix like the iron armature, but you gotta replace the whole
Yeah.
relay. A little bit all done, right?
Yes, I finished.
Alright, Nikolai, you following Nikolai? Like you feeling good? Feeling good, Nikolai? How you feeling? How you feeling?
Yes, sir.
You feeling good enough to sing a song for me? That's the question.
Nah, sir. No song today. No song today.
But Ryan, Zachary, Chanel. I don't think Nikolai tell it. I don't think Nikolai could sing. Can't be low.
Yes, I think so.
I think Nikolai is a
Yeah.
star.
Thinking is a bad thing. You should be sure, And I ain't too sure about that.
Hey boy. Zachary, I'm gonna ask Chanel a question. I think you already know the question I'm gonna ask Chanel. Chanel, do you think Zachary looks like Kendrick Lamar in the slightest? Like in the slightest?
To be honest, sir, no.
Hey boy, I guess
Exactly, sir.
hey, I guess it's just I guess it's just me. I guess it's just me. I feel like Cassidy and Virginia was just like going along with my stubbornness. I feel they were just gassing them up, I feel like
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
that's the way, that's the way it was. Well, yeah, I was living a fantasy sometimes, yes. I just see things. Okay. Send me a picture of your diagram. Let me see what you have. I need to make sure your diagram is correct. Zachary, Ryan, Nikolai. Nikolai, after class, you go take your mother phone and you go send me the pictures. So I'll make sure you do the work.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Nikolai, you have potential, I feel like what is gay is like, you see how we use the fancy terms on in here? Like the electromagnet, the armature, like high magnetic permeability. I feel like you could explain it real simple, but like when you write it like using like the exact like the exact jargon is like tie up. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
But like you had the potential. I would hate to see you just like not do good in physics. Physics really easy to get a one in. Dare I say physics is easier to get a one in than maths? Definitely.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like, you know how hard it is to get a one in C-Sec maths compared to like physics? Physics like real easy. A lot of these things are real easy to understand. Right? But before we move on, it's 10:04 already. Yay. So here what? In the next class, well, we actually just did this today, right? We killed a lot of birds today. You know, like 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. So we already know about the right hand thumb rule. Yeah. In the next class, we're gonna look at Fleming's left hand rule and Fleming's right hand rule. That is real confused students, boy. That is real confused students, real bad. Yeah. So after we finish, like we nearly finished with the syllabus, you know, guys. Like let me explain. Like, watch. That's it. We done. Like look at it, right? So let me show you where we on. So we are currently on page like 232, and 248 is the end of the syllabus. Let us
Yeah, good.
sink in for a bit. Like we done. Like, you know, like it's crazy. After we done with the syllabus, I'll take requests to do any topic you all want. Nikolai, have anything in particular you want me to do, or like start past papers?
I want to go through everything and tell you so.
Well, do that for me, right? But yeah, I will see you guys in the next session. But how we feeling about the electrical part of physics?
Good, sir.
Good.
Alright, so
Good.
before I go, I'm gonna ask Nikolai a question. Nikolai, what?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in an alternate, if I have a circuit without AC power source, right?
Yes, sir.
What changing? What would change?
The direction of the current
And what would change as
and
a
the magnetic
consequence?
field. Well,
Yeah, you see it, the magnetic field, right?
yeah.
If I have a DC power source, will the magnetic field change?
No.
No, it will not change. The electric field and the magnetic field are what to each other, Ryan?
Perpendicular.
Wait, check Nikolai now. Nikolai lighting it up, boy. Hey.
Against mass, sir.
Ryan, I get a chance, boy. Ryan, I get a chance. Wait, boy, Ryan, boy. Okay. You know what? Before I go, I just want to explain something called magnetic flux. Because all you're going to hear me using that word next class and they're going to confuse all you. I know that. Do we all understand what a magnetic field is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Right, so all magnetic fluxes is just the amount of, like, is the magnetic fields, is like, okay, is the amount of magnetic fields that passing through like a 2D plane, that's all. So like, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me get a good diagram for you. So like, do you all understand that at any given point in time, like a magnetic field could like cut through an object? Like Zachary, if I have a magnet and I have a piece of iron and I put a paper in the middle, right? So here I see. I'll actually have a magnet to demonstrate this. Are you probably saying, but how so all of these crazy things? Yes. I don't know. I just go to it like that. Watch. So I have a magnet here, right? I have a magnet. It's a magnet. Are you seeing this is a magnet?
Yes, sir.
And I'm putting it here. Putting this here. Does any magnet still work?
Yes, sir.
Why is that, Chanel? Why does the magnet still work?
Because it cuts through.
Yeah, it cuts through the paper. The paper is a 2D plane, right? It's a 2D shape, yeah? That 2D shape, is it not? The paper.
Yes, sir.
Or they would more like, no, like, tell me, like, and they're seeing that, like, okay, for this magnet to still be working, the magnetic field lines must be reaching the iron on the other side, right? It must be reaching the iron on the other side. So, and we could say that the magnetic field is cutting through the paper,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, so the magnetic flux is just the amount of magnetic fields cutting through the paper. That is all. That's literally it. That's all.
Alright, sir.
Don't want to be complicated. Let me get a diagram to show you all what it is. A magnetic flux diagram. Let's see what I'm talking about. Oh no. Do you or do you not feel?
Yes, sir.
Do you or do you not feel bonita? Do you guys feel? No, no, no. Some fellas might get offended by that. And you know, get offended by that. Like, okay, if a girl say you're looking pretty well, or like bonita, how you feel?
I wouldn't really care.
You wouldn't care. Ryan, what about you? If like a girl say you're looking pretty, but like she like you, know, how you feel?
I wouldn't care either.
I feel like Nicola, how you feel about that? Nicola, how you gonna take that?
Sir, I riding with that side one bad dress and everything. I tell a pretty princess. So you mean painty around and everything?
Oh Lord, Nicola, I'm cracking up, yes. Chanel, would you ever say a fella is pretty? Like, would you ever say like,
No, sir.
hard luck say boy, Nicola, boy. I don't know if, but I hope you find that. I hope you find that. But like, guys, I'll understand that.
Nah.
I understand that magnetic flux is just like the magnetic field. It's just the amount of magnetic field lines that passing through like a given area. That is literally it.
Yes, sir.
None of this had to be hard. So in the
Yeah.
next session, when I hear talking about magnetic flux, I'm on. I got teaching all some extra stuff here. Like nobody gonna learn this in secondary school. The symbol for magnetic flux is given by phi b. That's the symbol for magnetic flux. Yeah. Right?
Where did B come out from?
When you're indicating magnetic field, you typically use B. B represents magnetic field.
Alright, sir.
Yeah, so B yeah. Right. Best I just write that, yes? Best I just write that. One moment. So magnetic flux is a measurement of the total magnetic field passing through a given surface area. Alright, so in the next session, we are going to look at Fleming's right-hand rule, Fleming's left-hand rule, AC generators, and DC motors. Yay! Right, so they gotta put on the camera next class as well. Right, because in the next class, again, you gotta throw some gang signs, you know. You gotta throw like some Naruto hand signs or something. Right, Ryan, you ever watch Naruto?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you gotta throw some Naruto hand signs next class. Next class, you gotta be moving like shadow clone jutsu, all kind of thing. You'll see. Yeah, but like later, guys, have a good Saturday. Take care.
Yes, sir. You too.